Around 3% of London's population perished from its own waste. Not exactly. Everyone thinks the Great Stink was merely an unbearable smell. They are wrong. It was a putrid, tangible manifestation of a city's fatal negligence, a public health crisis that very nearly collapsed the British government. For centuries, London had relied on a rudimentary system of cesspits and gutters. Rain would wash the worst into the Thames, the city's primary water source, its sewer, and its lifeblood all at once. But the mid-19th century brought explosive population growth and a new invention, the flush toilet. Suddenly, household waste, once contained, was efficiently flushed directly into the already overburdened sewers. These sewers weren't designed for such volume. They merely channeled the effluent into the Thames, often just meters from where people drew drinking water. The river became a vast, open septic tank. Cholera outbreaks became devastatingly frequent. In 1848-49, over 14,000 Londoners died. Another 10,000 perished in 1853-54. Doctors, however, were still clinging to the miasma theory. Miasma theory posited that diseases like cholera were caused by bad air from decaying organic matter. The solution, they believed, was ventilation and perfumes, not improved sanitation. Enter Dr. John Snow. In 1854, Snow meticulously mapped cholera cases around the Broad Street pump, proving a link between contaminated water and the disease. His work was groundbreaking, but largely ignored by the establishment. The summer of 1858 arrived, unusually hot and dry. The Thames, already a stew of human waste, industrial effluent, and animal carcasses, began to recede. What was left was an exposed, festering horror. The stench was indescribable. One contemporary described it as the very essence of pestilence. It permeated everything, seeping into homes, offices, and even Parliament itself. Parliament House, situated directly on the banks of the Thames, became unbearable. Curtains were soaked in chloride of lime, but the stench still forced MPs to flee debates, even to abandon the building entirely. The crisis was no longer confined to the poor. It had breached the walls of power. This was the turning point. The Great Stink, by assaulting the nostrils of the powerful, finally forced their hand. For years, various proposals for a new sewer system had been presented, only to be bogged down by political bickering, funding disputes, and apathy. The cost was deemed too high. But the sheer physical discomfort, the direct assault on their senses, proved more persuasive than any scientific argument or moral plea. This wasn't about public health theory anymore. It was about immediate survival and basic dignity. Within weeks, Parliament passed the Metropolis Local Management Act, granting the Metropolitan Board of Works, MBW, the authority and funding to construct a comprehensive new sewer system. The man tasked with this monumental undertaking was Joseph Bazalgette, chief engineer of the MBW. He had a plan, years in the making, and now, finally, the political will to execute it. Bazalgette's vision was audacious. He proposed over 100 miles of street sewers connecting to 82 miles of massive intercepting sewers, all draining eastward, away from the city center to outfall works. The construction was an epic feat of Victorian engineering. Tunnels were bored, embankments built, and massive pumping stations erected. Thousands of laborers toiled for years, often in dangerous conditions. The project fundamentally reshaped London's landscape. The Victoria Embankment, Chelsea Embankment, and Albert Embankment were all part of Bazalgette's plan, creating new riverside roads and concealing the main intercepting sewers. Opened in stages from 1865, Bazalgette's sewer system transformed London's health. Cholera outbreaks dwindled, then vanished entirely. The death rate plummeted. It was a triumph of engineering and public health, directly born from the unbearable conditions of the Great Stink. London became a healthier, more livable city. The story of the Great Stink isn't just about waste. It's about the extraordinary power of collective discomfort to ignite political action. It proved that sometimes the nose knows best. Bazalgette's sewers still serve London today, a testament to foresight and quality construction. A hidden, underground marvel, silently shaping the lives of millions centuries later. The Great Stink remains a potent reminder that even the most advanced societies can falter without adequate infrastructure, and that sometimes a crisis of the senses is precisely what's needed to spur progress. Uncover another hidden historical turning point in our next deep dive.